Hello, fine folks. How's your day? I hope you all are doing absolutely fine. Today, we're diving into a story of epic proportions, a gender reveal party that turned into an unforgettable spectacle, all thanks to some clever compliance. From pink and blue chaos to a fire extinguisher hero moment, this one's got it all. Buckle up, because you won't want to miss how this malicious compliance lit up the party, literally and figuratively.
She wanted her gender reveal to be unforgettable. So I made sure it was, and put out a fire while doing it. This happened last weekend, and I still can't believe the chaos that unfolded. My coworker, Ashley, has been planning her gender reveal for months. She was set on making it the most epic event ever. She rented out a section of a busy park, invited about 50 people, and kept hyping it up like it was going to be a legendary moment. At one point, she mentioned she was going to set off a huge smoke bomb to reveal the gender. I'm talking a massive smoke bomb that would cover the entire park with thick, colorful smoke. She was convinced it would be amazing and unforgettable. Now, I've seen a lot of gender reveals, but this sounded like a disaster waiting to happen. So I raised some concerns. I said, Ashley, are you sure this is allowed at the park? I know they have some strict rules about fireworks and pyrotechnics. Have you checked with anyone first? She waved me off and said, it'll be fine. No one will care. The park will love it. It's just a little smoke. I wasn't convinced, so I tried again. Ashley, that's not just a little smoke. That thing is huge, and it could easily catch fire or cause a panic with the neighbors. Have you thought about how dangerous it could be? Ashley laughed and said, you're just saying that because you've never done something this cool. Trust me, no one will care. It's going to be incredible, and you'll be jealous you didn't think of it. At that point, I realized there was no stopping her. She was determined to go through with it, no matter the consequences. So, I decided to fully comply with her plan. She wanted it big? Fine. I'd let her have it, and make sure it was unforgettable in every possible way. The day of the reveal, I show up to the park. Ashley's grinning like a maniac, holding this massive smoke bomb in her hands, ready to light it up. I'm not about to let her handle that thing by herself. No way. I'm going to make sure the reveal is unforgettable, but I'm not going to let her burn the place down in the process. She lights the bomb, and within seconds, a huge cloud of blue smoke starts filling the air. But as the smoke rises, something goes wrong. A spark from the bomb lands on the dry grass below it, and the grass immediately catches fire. Ashley sees the fire and starts panicking. Put it out. Put it out. She screams at me. So I do exactly what she tells me. I grab a nearby bucket, fill it with water, and dump it on the fire, putting it out before it can spread. But as I'm doing this, Ashley freaks out. What the hell are you doing? She yells. You're ruining the reveal. It's supposed to be unforgettable. Not about putting out fires. I just look at her and say, well, the fire needed to be put out before it spread. You didn't think a giant spark from a huge smoke bomb could catch the grass on fire. She's livid now. I don't care about the fire. The point was for everyone to see the smoke and get excited. You ruined it. While she's yelling, fire alarms start blaring in multiple nearby houses. People think there's a real fire, and 911 calls start coming in. The fire trucks arrive, sirens blaring, and now we've got a full-blown emergency response happening because of a gender reveal. The firefighters start walking door to door, checking for actual fires, and when they realize it's just a smoke bomb, they're not happy. They give Ashley a hefty fine for violating public safety regulations and causing a disturbance. Meanwhile, the park staff is furious, and they shut down the event early. The park is evacuated, and everyone is stuck standing around in the smoke while the fire trucks block the road. The next day at work, Ashley walks in, fuming. Can you believe what happened? She rants. The fire department was totally overreacting, and the neighbors were acting like it was the end of the world. And you ruined the whole thing by putting out the fire. I needed that to burn for the full effect. I just smiled and shrugged. Ashley, I did exactly what you asked. You told me to put out the fire, and I did. But maybe next time, think about the consequences before lighting off a giant smoke bomb in a public park. She went absolutely red in the face and called me unsupportive and overbearing, saying I should have let it burn, but honestly, I just complied with her request and followed through. She wanted an unforgettable reveal, and I made sure she got exactly what she asked for, just with a little extra fire safety along the way. TLDR. Ashley planned a huge gender reveal with a giant smoke bomb, caught fire, set off alarms, caused chaos, and got her a fine. She told me to put out the fire, but then got mad when I did exactly that.
Wow. Talk about an unforgettable gender reveal. Just not in the way Ashley imagined. Ignoring all the warnings about safety, she went full steam ahead, only for her massive smoke bomb to set the grass on fire and cause a neighborhood panic. The irony? She asked you to put out the fire, then got mad when you did exactly that. From fire trucks to fines, she got her epic moment, but probably not the one she wanted. Hopefully, next time she'll think twice before turning a party into a public spectacle.
You want me to wait until the last minute to book my hotel?
Deal.
I work remotely for a small company, 100 employees, and based on my contract, I have to return to the office for a week 4 times a year. The last time I went back up was in November. In the contract, it's laid out that my employer pays 100% of hotel and gas/airfare. Normally, this is an extremely uneventful routine. It's a mid-sized Midwestern city with not much to do. It is what it is. A few months before I went back up, we had our financial audit, and one thing that was pointed out to our accounting department was a lack of controls on purchasing. The way it used to be was every manager/supervisor had a company credit card with a $1,500 balance, and as long as we stayed under that limit, we didn't have to do any kind of purchase orders. After our audit, my accounting team decided to make purchase orders 100% of their focus. Going forward, it doesn't matter what it was, what the situation was, if you didn't have an approved purchase order, you could not make the transaction. All this happened in early October as I was trying to book my hotel for my on-site week in November. Normally, I have freedom in choosing when I go on-site, but I was requested to go that specific week by my CEO and CFO as we were launching some strategic planning, and they wanted me on-site. So I put the purchase order in for the hotel, and I don't hear anything back. I forget about it for a couple weeks, then remember mid-October that I still don't have a hotel room booked. When I initially made the request, it was about $550 for 4 nights. Looking again in mid-October, it was now up to $700 for 4 nights. I look around and notice that same week I'm supposed to go up, there's a concert in the same city followed by a big college sporting event in that town. I send an email to my accounting folks that I need to book a hotel. Rates are going up, room availability is going down, yada yada yada. I get a tersely worded email back saying that everyone has different priorities and my purchase order will be addressed once all the ones before it are done. So I sit back and wait and keep checking every other day and keep seeing prices go up. I send a weekly email asking if it's approved yet, and I keep getting absolute silence back. Finally, a week before I email my accounting team with the CFO included saying if I don't book a room that day, there wouldn't be any left and I wouldn't be able to make it up for the strategic planning work. About 30 minutes later, I get back an email that says word for word, "You are authorized to reserve a hotel room for 4 nights. Cool, I book it. That $550 room is now $1,200. I book it and move on with my life, and don't think any of it. Last week, I got around to uploading my credit card receipts and submitted my expense report, which included that $1,200 hotel stay. I got a call from my CFO today just exploding on me, furious about where the hell did I stay that cost that much, and what was I thinking? I very calm just forwarded the original purchase order and all the emails I sent saying that prices were raising. I had dead silence on the phone as he read through the email chains and just said, "For fuck's sake," then hung up. At the end of the day, all supervisors got an email that the purchase order system was being shut down until they could figure out how to manage it better.
Now this is a perfect example of malicious compliance in action. You gave every warning, every opportunity to avoid a disaster, and they still ignored you. The result? A $1,200 hotel bill and a CFO eating his words after seeing the receipts. It's almost poetic how their obsession with purchase orders backfired so spectacularly. Hopefully, they've learned their lesson. When someone says prices are going up, it's not just polite advice. It's a financial reality.
Heavy fines for running the red lights made people not move even in emergency situation. So Vietnam just implemented a new law that fines heavily people who don't comply by traffic lights. About 5 to 20 million dong, which is about 1 to 2 months of average wage here. This causes a situation where even when there is an emergency situation, like an ambulance or a fire truck need passing through, many people just won't move to let those cars passing by. Some comments on the internet even said they would rather let a stranger die than let their family hungry. Yeah, IDK. I think it is malicious for sure. There are of course rules that stated if you disobey traffic rules in emergency situation, you won't be fined, but it seems like many people won't risk it or they just don't know the rules that well. I personally would move for emergency vehicles, so I'm not exactly thrilled with this.
This is a prime example of how a well-intentioned law can lead to unintended consequences. Heavy fines are supposed to promote safety, but here, they've created a moral dilemma where people prioritize financial security over saving lives. It's sad to think that fear of punishment has paralyzed drivers to the point where they won't even make way for ambulances or fire trucks. If the law isn't clear or leaves people too afraid to act, it's time for a serious reevaluation. Emergency vehicles should never have to fight traffic to save lives.
My favorite time I've ever quit a job. I worked at a gas station during COVID. It was terrible for a lot of reasons, so I searched for better jobs. I eventually found and interviewed for one on a Friday and got a job offer on the spot. I was scheduled to start Monday, which also happened to be my next gas station shift. Immediately after the interview, I called my gas station manager to tell them about the job offer. Without even asking what I called for, the manager began saying things like, "The floor wasn't clean enough. That wasn't stocked enough. XYZ. When I eventually got a word and I told them, "There's actually something I wanted to talk to you about," and the manager replied, "Well, can it wait until Monday?" At that point, I was so utterly done with that job that I told the manager, "Yes, can wait until Monday." When Monday came along, I showed up at the gas station well before my scheduled shift to turn in my key before starting my other job. When the manager saw me there early, they knew something was up and so came outside to meet me. I told them about the new job and asked if the gas station could increase my wage to match. The manager told me, I can't do that, and I said, okay, then I'm going to take the other job before handing over my key. My manager asked, "Why did you wait until now to tell me?" And I replied, "Because you asked me to." The manager didn't say another word to me, but after a pause let out a long groan. Then I got in my car and never looked back.
Sometimes quitting a job is all about timing, and you delivered it perfectly. Your manager's dismissive attitude set the stage for this epic moment of malicious compliance. When they told you to wait until Monday, you did exactly that, then dropped the news in a way they couldn't ignore. It's so satisfying to see someone stand up for themselves and walk away with their dignity intact. Kudos to you for making a clean break and moving on to something better. Well, folks, that's all for today's stories. I hope you enjoyed them as much as I did. Remember, sometimes the best way to handle a situation is with a little bit of malicious compliance. If you like what you heard, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and drop a comment below. Let me know which story was your favorite. Until next time, take care and stay awesome.